Hi, this is Anand. Introduced DevOps model in our organization and carrying out this model so successfully. Some people call it as a solution. In simple terms, I used to call it as a discipline that we need to practice. The tools helps us to enforce this discipline. The DevOps concept is introduced by Patrick Dubois. He is a software solution provider from Belgium. In 2012, it was completely evolved as a well-recognized model to address the problem that developers and operation support facing in day-to-day work. What makes this DevOps more important? That's what we need to see now. Usually, in any IT industry, first it starts with the requirement. The requirement analysis. And first we need to understand this requirement so well. It takes 10% of the effort. Likewise, the design, the key portion is the design. It takes 20% of the effort. Then when it comes to development, it's just 15% because coding anyone can do. Always, there will be a difference between author and writer, right? So design takes more time, development, okay, it takes moderate time, but it's not. It plays its own crucial role, but the design is more important than the development. Then testing, see, I'm a developer, but even then I'm giving higher percentage to the testing because most of the requirements come from the testing team only. Then afterwards, delivery, that is one of the tedious process that every developer is undergoing in their day-to-day operations, right? Developing is easier, but making it, taking it to the next stage. What is next stage? Testing, get it approved, and moving it to the production. These are some biggest challenges that we are having. Then after it go on to the production, we have to make it a functional, the operation, that is taking another 15%. So here only we need to see, okay, these are the existing, business as usual. How DevOps is making changes here. See, this requirement will remain as such, design will remain as such, then what else? The rest, everything will be merged into the DevOps. Instantly, whatever we develop, it has to go to that, instant it will be taken to the production. That's why it's called CI/CD model, continuous integration and continuous deployment. Now we need to think about the factors. What is factoring? This DevOps. For example, every time developer is making some code, okay, assume TDD approach or waterfall model, these are slowly getting obsolete. I mean, in fact, it's completely obsolete. Now, all we are focusing on agile methodology. Why agile methodology became imperative? Let's lately I will tell about the agile methodology. For example, you want some IT product. Okay, I'm giving you. I agree to give you. How much you charge? They're asking me. Okay, I will charge only $50. Very good, excellent. When can you give? After 5 years. After 5 years, that product will be of no use. Even I may not be needing it at all. Very good. Then when do you want? Then again, the requirement, that business, user or the guy who is giving me business, they're telling no, I want it next week. Yeah, sure, doable. Okay, how much you charge? I charge 2 million. So as not to skip any part of the requirement, I'll go by this agile methodology. First, we need to break that whole, requirement into multiple epics into user story into tasks, then split that work accordingly. Properly we need to split so that no one is waiting for anyone. Everyone will have their own input and they will be keep working on it. Apparently it looks like they are working in silos, but actually everyone is working together. That's the beauty of it, this agile methodology. And in agile fashion, because everything will be expedited. Previously, I was so happy with the 250 MB RAM. Now, even 16 GB is also not sufficient, right? Things are changing. So we need to adjust to the trending technology and trending needs, and we to embrace these changes. Otherwise, though we are doing right thing, we'll be run over by this trending stuff. So As a developer, time and again, if I want to retest, I'm parsing one file. In the file, there are multiple records are there. And to process the data, the rules are written in the database, and that file needs to be stored in the database, because so as not to reprocess the same file. Okay. So here if you see, the file is given, data, it's given, it's processed, output came. But in the output, there are some changes needs to be made. No, it's not complete. There are some changes needs to be made. The moment it fails, if I want to rerun, automatically I am preparing some script, the Jenkins or anything else. For example, you can call Ansible from somewhere. You are using some tool to do this. You have to put everything files back and recover the roll back the table changes and redo the testing. So it will expedite your testing process. Because in the development, you will undergo, when you are doing this task, certainly you will be disturbed by few people, for some help. The peer pressure would be there to come for a coffee break and tea break. And there will be some unwanted meetings, and mandatory meetings also will be there. So what will happen? By the time if you don't complete, so your time will be saved, and your valuable precious time will be saved. That's the beauty of it. These are one of the biggest factor. I would say the development, that effort is a bit automated. Just all you need to focus only on the business logic, and rest of the things, the operations will be carried out by itself. Okay. In delivery, other factors are delivering the product to the test environment. Okay. In a dev environment, first you will do the base version. Okay, good. Based on impact analysis, I did the base version. Then I will push it to the test. After pushing it to the test, the testers will come up with some, bugs. Then I need to fix and again put it back. So the testers got the fixed version. Once if they endorse, okay, testing excellent, there will be no more bugs. Everything is fixed, addressed. All the issues have been addressed. Then we need to move that same, that product into the production environment. That's called final version. So all this, operation, approval, everything had been automated. Then other factors are on commit in code repo, instantly code needs to be built and it needs to be delivered to the next stage. Immediately the code needs to be built. Every time I should not go and start that building process. So we need to, in any repo, whether you can, for example, here I shows the Git repository, GitLab. In the GitLab, I am adding that webhook. The moment I make changes or commit or push, immediately the code, the latest code will be taken into the tool, and it will be the file will be built again. It can be, it can be any code, whether it can be C, C++, or Java, or Angular, anything. Okay. In case of C and C++, in past we use Makefiles. In case of Java, in past we use Ant. Then recently we moved to Maven. Now we are using Gradle. Once all the code has been built, it will be pushed to the test environment. Here what I have done, just I committed the code. Everything, rest of things have been taken place. Here some people, they are using Pipe and Go, Here we are going to use Jenkins. These are just a brief up about, before getting into that the Jenkins code. The other factors are, when moving into the production, simply the testers, as he tested, agreed. Immediately it cannot be pushed to the production. The department manager, he has to give us approval. Previously what will happen, we will fill up some form and we'll send it by email. But by the time I send that email, the particular department manager needs to be available there. Or he may not be, or he may be in some meeting, or he may not be free, or at some personal need he would have gone out. But if this process is automated, all the delay, the unwanted or unintended delay can be completely eliminated. So the approval process will be automated. Instantly, once it's approved, it will go to the production. Because, the world is going very fast. Our requirements keep changing. So every minute delay, then the chances will be more of losing the business. DevOps is not, it's a more of mindset actually. It's a concept. How we are devising that model, it's in our hand. It's a good, mutual agreement between the development and operation team. They need to have some, the good agreement. That's why it's called DevOps. Developer and operation. Together it's called DevOps team. Need to maintain that standard to follow the best practices. Because the tools alone is not going to address your issue. The tools is just to facilitate, whatever the problem we are undergoing, we have to strictly will follow the discipline. Because I am keep providing, but in the receiving side, if the person is not ready, then it will be go meaningless, right? Here, I'm coming up with some, widely used tools currently, in the industry. Jenkins and the Groovy scripting and Ansible playbook. It's provided by the Red Hat. Then other, commonly expected skills are, shell scripting. As I said in the previous slide, it's like a Jenkins and Groovy scripting. Ansible, Chef, Puppet, and Salt Stack. Here, Ansible is using the push-based mechanism. Chef, Puppet, and Salt Stack are pull-based mechanism. So whenever you say push-based, it's a agentless. When it's a pull-based, it needs some agent. At the client side, when I am giving a command, at the receiving side, someone needs to be there to execute. But in case of Ansible, it's more of broadcasting. Once if I taken the control, all the computers are in my hand. In the network, all the computers, from here, I can orchestrate so nicely. In fact, you can devise that same model in the Jenkins also, but when it comes to an Ansible, the purpose is different. In case of, as I said, Jenkins is more of CI/CD. Ansible is of CM. It's a configuration management. Apart from shell scripting, we need awk. That is for, processing the data, structured data. That will be so helpful. Then streaming editor called SED, in making the changes runtime in the file itself. Then the Python, in Python, that is also one of that, it's a very powerful, evolving script. It is supporting from regular, using pandas, ordinary data processing to all the way it is supporting till machine learning. The scikit, everything we can use in the Python. They are providing the ready-made libraries are available. It supports, you can multiple databases you can do from PostgreSQL, MongoDB to Oracle, MS SQL, all the database it supports. They are having their own library. Then containerization, and that is also one of the evolving technology. Why we are going for containerization in Python? We are using similar to that virtual environment. So the containerization and Python virtual environment, they came up with the same concept of no one should complain that it's working for me in my environment, in my computer it's working. Why it's not working for you? There should not be any such a complaint. Like the whole container concept, your bed will be in this place, table will be in this place, kitchen will be in the same area. That container can be in Idaho or Oregon or Washington or in Louisiana or Mississippi or in Texas. It doesn't matter. The container can be in any direction, but for you, you will get that same look and feel. There will be no changes in that. See, just all we need to understand, just tools alone won't address the issue. It needs mutual agreement between both the parties. So the development is ready to give and automate their delivery at the receiving end. If they are not ready to accept, so it's of no use. In the next video, we are going to see how we are going to install Jenkins and how we are leverage the available plugins. Thanks for watching.